I never thought my own best friend would shatter my world. Until my teenage son showed me her wedding photo, and she was married to my ex-husband. I'm Valerie, 42, single mom, substitute teacher, and until that moment I honestly believed my life had finally stopped spiraling. 2 years ago my marriage to Mark imploded, ugly arguments, court dates, custody mediation, the works. When the divorce was finalized, he moved 3 states away to start over. I stayed in our small New Jersey suburb with our son, Tyler, now 15. Since then, Mark's appearances had been erratic. A birthday gift mailed late, a sporadic FaceTime call, 1 week-long summer visit last year that ended with Tyler complaining Dad was too busy to hang out. So when Mark suddenly asked for a full spring break visit, I figured maybe he was finally stepping up. Tyler deserved a present father, and frankly, I could use a week to catch my breath. Enter Grace, my best friend since freshman year of college. We survived dorm drama, awful breakups, and late-night pizza study sessions together. After graduation, Grace moved to Philadelphia for a sales job, but we stayed close. She was maid of honor at my wedding, godmother to Tyler, the person who answered my meltdown calls after the divorce. If anyone knew how shattered I'd felt, it was her. Flash forward to last Monday. Tyler rolled his suitcase back into my kitchen after a week with Dad, cheeks flushed from the long ride. "Trip was cool," he said, shrugging off his sweatshirt. "Too casual." I sensed something beneath the surface but didn't press. Teenagers don't unpack emotions on command. I asked the usual mom questions. Did you eat enough? Get homework done? Treat your dad with respect. Tyler nodded, avoiding eye contact. He headed to his room. Minutes later, I heard drawers slam, then silence. My mom radar buzzed. I knocked. "You okay, bud?" Tyler opened the door halfway. "Yeah, just tired." Behind him, I spotted a glossy 5x7 photo on the bed. Mark in a suit, arm around a woman in a white dress, both grinning under a gazebo dripping in string lights. A small wedding. Rustic chic. My stomach dipped. "Who's that?" I asked, pointing. Tyler's shoulders hunched. He snatched the picture, but too late, I'd already seen the bride's face. Grace. My vision blurred. I grabbed the doorframe to steady myself. "Is that Aunt Grace?" Tyler's eyes flicked away. "Dad said not to show you." His voice cracked on the last word. Time slowed into shards of disbelief, anger, and piercing betrayal. Images flashed. Sleepovers where Grace and I sipped wine and binge-watched rom-coms. The nights she helped me draft angry, unsent emails to Mark. How she swore men like him didn't deserve women like me. Meanwhile, she'd been, what? Secretly dating him? Planning vows behind my back. My pulse pounded. When did they get married, Tyler? He swallowed. Last weekend, in North Carolina, it was small, just them and a few friends. He paused, guilt washing over his face. "Dad said he'd tell you soon, but I don't know," felt wrong. I sat on his bed, legs suddenly weak. "You didn't do anything wrong. This isn't on you." I forced calm, though my hands shook. "Did you know she was marrying him before you went down?" Tyler shook his head, curly hair flopping. "Dad picked me up, said he had a surprise. Next thing I know, I'm handing over rings." His voice cracked again. "Mom, I didn't want to hurt you." Tears burned, but I blinked them away. I had to be the adult, even as my heart splintered. "Thank you for telling me." I pulled him into a hug. He clung tight, shoulders tense. My anger ignited, not at him, but at the 2 people I'd trusted most. Looking back now, I see how naive I was. Grace had been distant lately. Missed calls, rain check brunches, excuses about work travel. I chalked it up to our busy lives. Mark, I'd written him off as flaky, not malicious. Turns out he'd been orchestrating a secret life, and Grace was more than happy to play co-conspirator. That night, after Tyler went to bed, I paced the living room, replaying every conversation with Grace over the past year. The quick phone calls cut short when I mentioned dating again. The vague answers about her new guy. The time she visited and asked weirdly detailed questions about our custody schedule. I'd laughed them off, thinking she was protective of me. Now they felt like reconnaissance. My phone buzzed Grace's name. I stared at it, fury blazing. I let it ring out. Then Mark's name lit up the screen. I shoved the phone face down, chest tight with rage. "Oh my God, seriously," I muttered to the empty room. My ex-husband marrying my best friend without so much as a heads up. Worse, dragging our son into their secret ceremony. Betrayal squared. Minutes later, a text popped up. Grace, Val, I know you're shocked. Please call me, I can explain. Another ping, Mark, we need to talk about how to present this to Tyler. Present this? As if it were a business proposal, not a bombshell. I powered the phone off, heart thudding. In that instant, I vowed two things: protect my son from becoming collateral damage and confront the two people who'd turned my life into their private plot twist. Tomorrow. But first, I had to survive the night with my sanity intact, replaying every memory, wondering how long the lies had been growing right under my nose. I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, flashes of Grace in a bridal gown swirled with Mark's smug half-smile. Around 3, I gave up and sat at the kitchen table, scrolling old photos on my phone, beach trips with Grace, birthday cakes she helped bake for Tyler. How long had those smiles been hiding secrets? At dawn, I brewed coffee so strong it burned my throat. Tyler patted in, hair a mess, eyes puffy. "You okay?" he asked. I forced a smile. Working on it. I handed him a mug of cocoa. "Listen, kiddo, none of this is your fault. If you ever feel stuck between me and Dad, tell me. I won't make you choose sides." His shoulders sagged with relief. "Thanks, Mom," he hesitated. "Grace, what happens now? She was like family." I swallowed. "I don't know yet, but we'll figure it out." After he left for school, I called my sister, Elise. She gasped so loudly I had to hold the phone away. "Your ex married your best friend? That is next-level soap opera," she hissed. "What's your plan?" "Confront them," I muttered, "but I need to keep it civil for Tyler." "Civil," Elise barked. "Val, be civil later. Right now you need answers." Maybe she was right. I texted Grace, "Meet me today, noon, the diner." She replied instantly, "Yes, I'll be there." Mark's texts I left unread. I wasn't ready for his spin. At 11:59, I slid into a booth at Maple Street Diner, palms slick. Grace arrived wearing the same peach coat she'd borrowed from me last winter. Seeing it on her felt like a punch. She sat, eyes red-rimmed. "Val, I raised a hand. "Spare the apology for now. How long have you been with him?" She flinched. "A little over a year." My breath hitched. "A year? You held my hand through the divorce while sleeping with him." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "It didn't start like that. He called me to plan a surprise for Tyler's 13th birthday. Remember the video game console? We kept talking. I was lonely, he was hurting." "Hurting?" I snapped. "He blew up our marriage with his gambling debt, Grace. Remember those midnight phone calls when I cried on your shoulder?" She nodded, sobbing. "I know, I hate myself." I gripped the table so hard my knuckles whitened. "When did he propose?" 3 months ago. He promised we'd tell you together, but then the court approved his relocation petition early and we rushed the wedding for legal reasons." I laughed bitterly. "Legal reasons? Like making sure Tyler's stepmom is conveniently my ex-best friend." She covered her face. "I wanted to call you. Mark said he'd handle it." Of course he did. Mark always dodged hard conversations. "Did you even think about how Tyler would feel, handing over rings at a secret ceremony?" Grace sobbed harder. "I'm sorry, I thought seeing us happy might help him accept it." My voice shook with rage. "He's 15, Grace, not a prop." Silence fell, thick with regret. Finally she whispered, "Please don't throw away our friendship." Something inside me cracked. "Friendship?" I echoed. "You buried our friendship the first time you kissed my husband." She crumpled, shoulders shaking. The waitress approached, but one look at our faces sent her retreating. I stood, sliding a few bills onto the table. "I need space. For Tyler, maybe we'll work out a way to be civil, eventually. But you and we're done." Grace reached for my hand. I stepped back. Without another word, I walked out, cold air slapping my cheeks. I sat in my car, heart hammering, and finally opened Mark's unread texts. The latest read, "I'll drive up tonight. We all need to talk as a family." A bitter laugh escaped me. Family, what a joke. Still, Tyler deserved clarity. I texted back, "Fine, 7 p.m., but you come alone, Tyler will decide if he joins." Less than a minute later, he replied, "I'll be there." The rest of the afternoon dragged. I cleaned furiously, scrubbing counters, vacuuming corners, anything to burn off anger. At 6:30, Tyler came home from basketball practice. I sat him down. "Your dad's coming over at 7. You don't have to stay if it's uncomfortable." He bit his lip. "I want to hear what he says." At 7:05, Mark walked in, same cocky grin he'd worn at court hearings, only now it looked strained. He glanced at the spotless living room. "You cleaned." I crossed my arms, spit it out. He sighed. "Val, I know this is hard. Grace and I." "Stop, you lied to me, to Tyler, to everyone. Explain why." He opened his mouth, but Tyler cut in, voice shaking. "Dad, why didn't you tell me before the wedding? I had to keep it secret from Mom." Mark's bravado faltered. "I thought it would be easier once the paperwork was done. Change is hard, son." Tyler's eyes filled with tears. "You made me part of your lie." Mark reached for him. Tyler stepped back. My heart cracked at the sight. "Tyler, buddy." "Don't call me buddy," Tyler whispered. I turned to Mark. "Here, how this works. You can be Tyler's father, but you will not manipulate him. You will respect my role as his mother." My voice shook but stayed firm. "We revisit the custody agreement. Tyler stays here till the end of the school year while we settle this. And you pay for his therapy. He needs a neutral space to deal with your mess." Mark's jaw tightened. "Val, let's be reasonable." I leveled him with a stare I didn't know I had in me. "I'm being generous. Another option is taking you back to court for emotional distress and subpoenaing Grace as evidence of parental alienation. Your call." He paled. "Fine, I'll cover therapy. Tyler can stay." Tyler exhaled, relief washing over his face. I wasn't done. "I also expect weekly check-ins. Transparent, no more surprises." Mark nodded miserably. "Okay." We wrapped up logistics. Mark tried a soft goodbye with Tyler, but my son gave a stiff nod and retreated to his room. When the door clicked, silence filled the house. Mark looked at me, guilt etched deep. "You hate me." I met his gaze, tears burning. "Hate implies I still care enough. Right now, I just want you out of my house." He left without another word. When the door shut, I finally crumpled, tears spilling. But beneath the heartbreak, a flicker of strength glowed. For Tyler's sake and my own, I wouldn't be a passive character in their secret romance. They'd written their vows in private shadows. I'd shine every painful truth into the light. Looking back now, I realize this was the moment the emotional spiral truly began. Mark and Grace thought their shiny new marriage would overwrite the past, but family bonds don't reboot on command. And as the weeks unfolded, each attempt to blend our fractured clan only deepened the cracks, forcing all of us, especially Tyler, to confront loyalty loss and what happens when trust is the first casualty of love. The first week after that confrontation felt like living inside a pressure cooker. Every day a new hiss of steam, every night the threat of explosion. Tyler barely spoke at breakfast. He'd grab toast, mumble thanks, and disappear to school before I could ask how he was sleeping. I heard him gaming online late, voice low, probably venting to friends because talking to parents was too messy. I let him have the space, but inside I was terrified. One betrayal had blindsided me. I couldn't let it swallow him whole. Meanwhile, Grace blew up my phone with guilt-laden texts. "Please let me apologize again, in person. I can't sleep knowing how much I hurt you. I miss our friendship." I ignored them all. Each ping felt like salt in an open wound. Friendship? That ship had burned, sunk, and rusted on the ocean floor. Mark, to his credit, or maybe out of fear, did cover therapy. Tyler's first session was Wednesday after school. I drove him to Dr. Patel's office, a calm space with beanbags and abstract art that tried too hard to be teen-friendly. On the ride, I kept my voice gentle. "You can say anything in there, no judgment." He nodded, staring out the window, earbuds in. When he came out 45 minutes later, his eyes were red but his shoulders looked lighter. "It was okay," he said. "Small victory." Thursday night, Grace took her desperation up a notch. She emailed my substitute teacher address at the district. The subject line, "For Tyler's sake." The nerve. She wrote that Mark wanted Tyler to spend Easter weekend with them, and that it would be wonderful if you felt comfortable meeting halfway for brunch so tension does trickle down to him. I closed the laptop so hard the screen flashed. Trickled down? She'd unleashed a tsunami and worried about drizzle. Looking back now, I see how grief can masquerade as rage. All day Friday, I stomped through school hallways, slamming locker doors that stuck, barking at 7th graders who whispered during silent reading. At dismissal, my colleague Mrs. Ramirez cornered me. "Val, you good. You're intense today." I almost laughed. Intense? Understatement of the century, but I just muttered, "family stuff," and hustled out before tears betrayed me. That night, Tyler emerged from his room holding his phone. "Dad wants to FaceTime Saturday morning about Easter," he said, eyes wary. "He asked if you'd join." My jaw clenched. Easter was 2 weeks away, they were already plotting. I inhaled slowly. "I'll be there," I told Tyler. "We'll handle it together." Saturday, 10 a.m. Sharp, Mark's face filled Tyler's screen. Grace hovered in the background, half off camera but unmistakable. I positioned myself where she couldn't avoid me. Mark launched into salesman mode. "Hey champ, hi Val, we're thinking Easter egg hunt, maybe a day at the lake. What do you say?" Tyler glanced at me uncertain. I folded my arms. "What I say is we establish ground rules first," I replied. Grace tried a watery smile. "Val, I just want peace." "Peace starts with honesty," I shot back. "So let's be honest. Tyler was used as your ring bearer without consent. He's in therapy because of it. Until Dr. Patel clears extended visits, holidays are off the table." Mark's eyebrows shot up. "That's extreme." "Extreme," my voice cracked, anger and hurt mixing. "Extreme is marrying my best friend in secret." Grace stepped closer, hands clasped. "Val, we understand you're upset, but Tyler shouldn't suffer." "He's not," I hissed. "He's healing. That requires stability, not lakeside photo ops for your Instagram." Tyler shifted, cheeks reddening. "Mom, Dad, please," his voice trembled. "Can we not fight on video?" Guilt hit me like a slap. I softened, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You're right, we'll discuss this privately." I looked dead into Mark's eyes. "Send me your Easter proposal by email. I'll review it with Dr. Patel." Mark opened his mouth, but Grace tugged his sleeve. "Okay," she said quickly. "Email." Call ended. Tyler exhaled, shoulders sagging. I hugged him. "Sorry you had to see that." He hugged back, whispering, "I get why you're mad. I'm mad too." Later that night, while Tyler showered, an email from Grace pinged. A heartfelt apology followed by an attachment, her personal journal entry about falling for Mark. My hands shook opening it. She wrote about late-night confessions, how Mark never stopped loving Tyler, and how she never meant to betray Val. Reading her romanticized version of my imploding life felt like watching someone Instagram filter a train wreck. I slammed the laptop shut, bile rising. I called Elise, voice trembling. She sent me her diary, like that fixes anything. Elise snorted. "Block her. She wants absolution on the cheap." Maybe Elise was right, but blocking felt too final when Tyler now had a stepmom by default. Instead, I created a separate email folder labeled Grace, Do Not Open, dragged every message there, and muted notifications. Small boundary. Sunday morning, I made pancakes. Tyler joined, still in pajama pants, hair sticking up. "Mom," he ventured, "if I don't go for Easter, does that mean I can't see Dad for months?" His voice held a quiver. My chest tightened. "No, sweetie, we'll find a safe way for you to see him. Maybe day trips, maybe he visits here. We just need to make sure you feel okay." He nodded, poking batter with a spatula. "Dr. Patel says I should write my feelings. Maybe I'll start a journal." I smiled, heart aching with pride. "That's a great idea." Watching him, I realized the real battle wasn't just with Mark and Grace. It was guarding Tyler's heart while patching my own. That evening, as twilight painted the sky lavender, I sat on the porch and opened a fresh notebook. Page 1. "Looking back now I see," the pen hovered. I wrote, "Looking back now I see that betrayal doesn't always roar in like a hurricane. Sometimes it tiptoes in wearing your best friend's perfume." Tears blurred the ink, but I kept writing. Because if Tyler could face his feelings, so could I. What I didn't know was that Mark's next move would upend everything, again. A legal letter, a custody modification request, and the threat that if I did support a healthy blended family, he'd seek primary custody. The emotional spiral was only tightening, and I would soon learn just how far I'd go to protect my son from being weaponized by the two people who'd already broken every rule of trust. The custody modification letter arrived on Tuesday, tucked between grocery flyers like a venomous snake hiding in grass. I spotted the law firm logo on the envelope and felt my stomach drop. Inside, formal language accusing me of willful interference with co-parenting and demanding a court review to consider relocating Tyler to live primarily with Mark and, though unspoken, Grace. I stood at the kitchen counter, hands trembling. "He can't be serious," I whispered. Tyler was at school. I was glad he wasn't there to see the tears gather in my eyes. I snapped a photo of the letter and sent it to Elise and my lawyer, Carla Ruiz. Within minutes, Carla called, voice steely. Valerie, this is intimidation. He has little chance of winning, but will respond firmly. Do not engage directly. Do not engage? Easier said than done. Rage burned through my veins. He'd shattered our marriage, blindsided me with grace, thrown Tyler into chaos, and now he wanted to paint me as the villain. That afternoon, I met Carla in her office. She skimmed the letter again. He claims you're denying holiday visitation. I exhaled sharply. We're following Tyler's therapist's guidance, and Easter isn't even court-ordered. Carla nodded. We'll file a motion to dismiss and request that all future visitation changes go through Dr. Patel's recommendations. Judges hate parents who play power games. I left feeling fortified but exhausted. At home, I broke the news to Tyler as gently as possible. He slumped onto the couch, eyes wide. Dad wants me to move there? His voice cracked. I don't want to leave my school, my friends. I hugged him tight. You won't, we're fighting this. That night, Grace texted from an unknown number. Apparently, I'd muted her main one. Val, I swear Mark blindsided me with the lawyer stuff. I begged him not to escalate. I stared at the message, heart pounding. Was she telling the truth or playing good cop? I typed back, then convince him to drop it. No reply. Over the next 2 weeks, legal volleys flew. Mark's lawyer pushed for an expedited hearing. Carla countered with sworn statements from Dr. Patel about Tyler's stress levels. Mark emailed me, friendly, reminders that he was only seeking what's best for our son. Each message drenched in corporate politeness, like he could gaslight away the damage. Meanwhile, Tyler retreated into silence. He slept with earbuds in, ate dinners fast, then locked himself in his room. One evening, I knocked gently. You want to talk? He opened the door a crack. I wrote something, he mumbled, handing me a folded sheet. Inside, a poem. 2 homes pulling like magnets. Both say they're north. I'm the compass needle. Spinning dizzy, lost. Tears blurred the lines. I hugged him. We'll fix this, I promised, praying it wasn't a lie. At counseling that week, Dr. Patel suggested a joint session with Mark present. Tyler needs to voice his feelings directly, she said. I agreed, though dread curled in my gut. Would Mark actually listen? The session was set for Saturday. Mark flew in, Grace stayed behind. In the lobby, Mark tried a tentative smile. I ignored it. Inside, Dr. Patel began. Tyler, share why you asked for this meeting. Tyler's hands shook as he unfolded his poem, reading it aloud. His voice wavered, but he finished, eyes glistening. Mark's face crumpled. Buddy, I never meant to make you feel torn. Tyler looked up, tears spilling. Then stop making mom the bad guy, stop surprise weddings, stop lawyers. Mark swallowed hard. Dr. Patel leaned in. Mark, hear him. This isn't about winning custody, it's about Tyler's stability. For once, Mark didn't argue. He took a shaky breath. You're right. I got scared I was losing time with you. I thought forcing a schedule would fix it. I spoke softly but firmly. Time isn't earned through threats. It's earned through trust, which you broke. Mark nodded, eyes wet. I'm sorry. Dr. Patel seized the moment. Let's agree on a healing plan. Weekly video calls, bi-weekly day visits here, holiday discussions pending Tyler's comfort. No legal action unless both parents agree therapy has failed. Mark hesitated, then signed the written agreement. Relief and skepticism warred inside me. He'd backed down before, only to betray me again. Outside, Mark pulled me aside. Val, about Grace's messages, she genuinely wants to make things right. I stared at him. She can't, some things you don't come back from. He nodded, defeated. I'll respect that. He left for the airport, shoulders slumped. Over the next month, he stuck to the plan. Video calls happened, day visits too. Tyler slowly brightened, laughing more, sleeping better. I dared to exhale. Then one quiet Thursday, a small envelope arrived from Grace. Inside, a drawing by Ava, stick figures of Daddy, Mommy Grace, Tyler, and Auntie Val holding hands under a rainbow. Scrawled beneath, hope we can all be a family. My breath caught. Bittersweet tears pricked my eyes. Children always hope adults can fix the messes we make. I pinned the drawing on the fridge, for Tyler, not for me. Because maybe, someday, he could look at that rainbow and feel peace. As for me, I still wasn't sure where forgiveness ended and self-respect began. But for the first time since the wedding photo shattered my world, I sensed the emotional spiral slowing. Not gone, but slowing, enough for me to see that protecting Tyler's heart was possible without losing my own. Little did I know, the true twist, the final test, was still ahead, waiting to challenge every fragile boundary we'd set. I honestly thought the worst was behind us until the school called. It was a gray Monday, the kind that feels like someone turned the saturation down on the whole world. I was grading vocabulary quizzes in the break room when my cell lit up. Jefferson High Counselor. My stomach lurched. "Ms. Turner, this is Mr. Wallace," the voice said gently. "Tyler had a bit of a situation in English today." My grip tightened on the phone. "Is he hurt?" "No," emotionally shaken. "He broke down during a family tree assignment, mentioned feelings split in half. We think it might help to loop you in." I thanked him, promised to talk with Tyler, and stared at the half-graded quizzes until the bell rang. Family tree assignment, of course. How does a kid chart a tree when its roots feel tangled in betrayal? At home, I knocked on Tyler's door. "Can we talk?" He sat at his desk, hoodie up, eyes red. "I'm fine," he muttered. "I got a call from Mr. Wallace." I pulled out the desk chair, sitting backward on it. "Wanna tell me what happened?" He shrugged, voice hoarse. "Had to draw a family tree. Didn't know where Grace fit. My best friend said stepmoms go on a branch. Another kid joked my tree looked like it had glitched. I lost it." My chest ached. "I'm sorry." He kicked the carpet. "Dad keeps texting that Grace wants me to stay with them for the whole summer. I don't know what to say." Tears welled again. "If I go, I feel like I'm betraying you. If I don't, I feel like I'm betraying Dad, and even Grace, I guess." I breathed slowly. "Ty, listen, choosing your own comfort isn't betrayal. Your dad and Grace created this mess. You don't have to fix it." He sniffed. "Can't you and Dad just be in the same room without hatting each other?" I keep picturing that drawing Ava made. The rainbow drawing, it had become a silent symbol on our fridge, hopeful, heavy. I swallowed. "We're trying, but healing takes time." He slumped, wish time would hurry up. That night, after Tyler fell asleep, I stared at Grace's muted messages folder. I hovered over delete all, but something stopped me. Ava's rainbow tugged at my conscience, was refusing every olive branch teaching Tyler resilience or bitterness. I drafted a new email. "Grace, Tyler's struggling with the family tree project. If you truly want to help, suggest ideas that respect his ** pace, not yours. Val." I hesitated, then hit send. Her reply came at 1 a.m. "I understand. Would Tyler feel better if we did the tree together on Zoom? No pressure, just support. I'll wait for him to choose." It wasn't a miracle fix, but it felt cooperative. I showed Tyler the email after school. He bit his lip. "Could we try, with Dr. Patel on the call too?" So we set it up. Saturday morning, 1 hour, Dr. Patel moderating. Mark, Grace, Tyler, and me, digital Brady bunch with an emotional mediator. When the screen connected, Grace wore a soft sweater, hair pulled back, eyes cautious. Mark looked nervous but attentive. Tyler had glued blank poster board to his desk. Dr. Patel smiled warmly. "Goal today, help Tyler design a family tree that feels honest and safe." We started adding names. Mark suggested one color for biological links, another for step relations. Grace offered to draw leaves around everyone so no branch felt less. Tyler surprised us by sketching 2 thick trunks twisting together at the base, one labeled *mom*, one *dad*, merging into a shared canopy of branches. "Even if the trunks split higher up," he explained, "the roots are still kinda connected underground." My eyes stung. Grace covered her mouth, tears falling. Mark blinked hard. For 60 minutes we colored, labeled, even added Ava's crayon self-portrait. When we logged off, Tyler exhaled a shaky laugh. That helped. I hugged him, whispering, "You did that. You set the terms." Later that evening, a new email arrived, this time from Mark. I saw how much that session meant to Ty. "Grace and I talked. If he wants to stay here this summer only 2 weeks at a time we'll come to New Jersey for the other half, family therapy included. Your call." I stared at the screen, heart pounding. Part of me feared another power play. Part of me saw a genuine shift, Mark finally letting Tyler's needs steer the ship. I wrote back. 2 weeks on / 2 weeks off could work, pending Dr. Patel's approval. Let's draft a detailed plan, together, step by step. I hit send and felt, for the first time since that wedding photo, a sliver of peace. Not forgiveness, not yet, but an acknowledgement that Tyler's compass was steadying, and maybe, just maybe, the grown-ups were learning to follow his true north. Still, a final question lingered. Could this fragile cooperation survive real-world testing? Holidays, unexpected crises, Grace's lingering guilt? I didn't know. But part of healing is walking into uncertainty, believing you can handle what comes next. And with Tyler's tree hanging proudly on his bedroom wall, its roots intertwined yet strong, I finally believed we might. I should have known the real test would hit just when things felt almost bearable. 2 weeks into the new rotation plan, Tyler spent his first full fortnight with Mark and Grace in North Carolina. The nightly video calls were upbeat. They grilled burgers, took Ava and Tyler to a minor league baseball game, even showed me a photo of the finished family tree pinned in their hallway. I forced myself to smile. It was good for Tyler, but a sliver of doubt lodged in my chest. That doubt bloomed into full-blown panic when Tyler texted me at 11 p.m. on a Thursday. "Mom, call ASAP, it's Dad." My fingers flew. Tyler answered on the second ring, voice shaking. "Dad's at the hospital. He had chest pain after freaking out about money." Money, alarms blared in my head. Mark's gambling addiction, the secret debt that helped blow up our marriage. "Where, Grace?" I asked, grabbing my keys. "She's with Ava at home. She said you'd be calmer if you talked to the doctor directly." Calmer, I was vibrating with fear and fury. I threw clothes into a bag, hit the road at midnight, and drove 8 hours through darkness and caffeine to Raleigh Medical Center. During the drive, Grace messaged updates. EKG normal, stress-related angina, overnight observation. "Please drive safely," she wrote. I gripped the wheel until my knuckles ached. At dawn, I strode into Mark's room. He lay pale but stable, IV in his arm. He looked up, shame flooding his eyes. "Val." I swallowed my anger. "Talk." Grace sat in the corner, hugging a jacket. She whispered, "Mark got a notice his credit line was maxed. He'd been secretly day trading crypto, chasing losses." My stomach dropped, different addiction, same disaster. Mark's voice cracked. "I thought I could fix our finances, pay for a bigger house, therapy, everything. One bad trade snowballed. Stress hit me like a truck." I closed my eyes. The past replayed. Nights I begged him to quit online poker, promises he'd change. Now Tyler was caught in the fallout again. When the cardiologist left, I sat at Mark's bedside. "This ends now," I said quietly. "You get addiction counseling, financial guardianship, whatever Dr. Patel deems necessary, or the custody plan is suspended." Tears slid down Mark's cheeks. "I'll do it, I can't lose Tyler." Grace nodded, voice hoarse. "I'll handle the household bills, we'll be transparent." Transparency, finally more than a buzzword. I arranged emergency therapy for Tyler, then drove him and Ava to a park while Grace stayed with Mark. We sat on a picnic table, early sunlight filtered through pines. Tyler stared at the mulch. "Is Dad gonna die?" I wrapped an arm around him. "Doctors say he'll recover if he changes his habits, and he will, because we'll make sure he does." He sniffed. "What if he messes up again?" I glanced at Ava twirling nearby, oblivious. Then we keep ourselves safe. Loving someone doesn't mean letting them hurt us. Tyler pulled a folded sheet from his pocket, another poem. "Roots can rot, if watered with lies. But truth is sunlight. Painful bright, yet the only chance. A tree can grow right." I blinked back tears. "That's beautiful." He managed a small smile. "I guess Dr. Patel's homework works." Back at the hospital, Mark signed releases giving me access to his financial records and therapy attendance. For the first time, I sensed genuine surrender, less about winning me back, more about facing himself. Good, because I was done being collateral damage. 2 months passed. Mark stuck to treatment, 12-step meetings, weekly counseling, a strict budget overseen by Grace and a court-appointed advisor. Tyler visited every other weekend. Video calls continued. Slowly, the knots in his shoulders loosened. One July evening, Tyler and I sat on the back porch, watching fireflies. He held the rainbow drawing Ava had updated. She'd added tiny hearts around each figure, even me. "You gonna keep it on the fridge?" he asked. I traced the crayon hearts. "Yeah, because it reminds me families aren't perfect pictures, they're works in progress." He nodded thoughtfully. "I don't hate Dad or Grace, still mad sometimes, but I get they're human." I hugged him, me too. Looking back now, I see the final twist. Mark's health scare wasn't just another betrayal. It was the catalyst that forced every one of us to choose brutal honesty over shiny illusions. Grace confronted her guilt head-on, becoming the watchdog of finances instead of the silent accomplice. Mark finally admitted his addictions were bigger than his pride, and I learned that boundaries aren't walls to keep people out, they're doors that stay open only when trust walks through. Some lessons cost you everything you once thought was secure. Mine cost a best friend, a marriage, and the picture-perfect family I'd imagined. But love needs trust. I only learned that when it was shattered, then rebuilt, layer by honest layer. Will I ever be best friends with Grace again? No. Will Mark and I share inside jokes at future graduations? Probably not. But Tyler now knows both parents will fight for his well-being, even if that means fighting asterisk against asterisk each other's unhealthy choices. And that, I've realized, is the truest gift we can give our children. The courage to face hard truths and still believe in brighter tomorrows. Because in the end, a family tree can survive storms, rot, even lightning strikes, so long as someone keeps pruning the dead branches and letting the sunlight in.